This music does not go with this theme at all.
It really doesn't. It's Mumamo, pals.
Have you encountered the enemies of capitalism?
Right.
Consider hiring Black Matter.
Right. Yes. Hey, on today's Mumamo, it's creating paramilitary organizations. You hear a lot of doo-doos? Who's leaving the doo-doos? Here at Mumamo, which also you may know as Mutants and Masterminds Monday, the weekly program every Monday, focused solely on the only superhero TTRPG out there.
Mm-hmm.
The only one in this entire world. And I don't know why. It's weird. But also I want to know, can you hear?
It is.
Can you hear us all?
Commentary suggests
Paul says morning Mumamunity. Mumamunity. Okay, yeah. Warren Maximus says hello, folks. Devious howdies. Here they come.
Yep.
All kinds of weird. I don't know what people are talking about. Having some kind of problem with the time zones or something. I don't know. Confused they were.
Time zones are the worst.
On time were we. Bernard says, ha 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 ha. A rousing reveille, a clarion call to action. Oh yeah, I guess it's, listen, it does Hogan's Heroes. Well, are you making fun of my time lapse? I was borrowing something from the past. But when I think of real American heroes, you know who I think of? These guys right here. Patriots.
Not this guy.
To a man. How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
Nice.
Good.
Excellent. I like this subject, not because of any real world parallels, certainly not. But there's some fun about a shadowy organization that your heroes can beat the heck out of. A sort of extra, what do they call that? Not extrajudicial. It's extra.
Paramilitary?
It's just extra.
Yeah.
Extra.
Legal.
Extra legal. Yeah, there's
yeah.
something in that milieu that I'm not quite tapping into.
Sure.
Apook, happy Mumamo to you. I know, Tempo. It was me. I did it. It was me. Okay, it was me. Yo Joe, of course, referring to everyone's favorite. What was that?
It was always me, Barry.
Right.
It was always me.
It's always me.
But this idea came from one Raymond Stegman.
Indeed.
Of the chat Stegmans. And really, thank you for that, my friend. You get a hero point of your very own, a real life one that you could use, in whatever circumstance or situation you want to rewrite something. Maybe you said something you didn't mean to. Maybe you forgot to do something. Maybe you set a live stream for a wrong time and everyone's giving you a bunch of business about it. Well,
right. You want to retcon that,
Yeah, you can retcon that right out of existence, like I did. But I've also got a big bag of these here. We'll be delivering it somehow, some way. You will find it. It will, when you least expect it, it'll just pop up. May not look like a hero point, but it is. And it's yours. And thank you. So we're creating paramilitary organizations.
Yes.
Real quick, before we dive into the meat of the matter, I do want to say that today's program is brought to you by the Mutants Masterminds Heroes Handbook 4th edition playtest, which is in stock.
Woo!
Many people have been like,
"What?" That's the print edition.
That's the print edition. You can get it in your hot little hands.
Hard copy.
It's good stuff.
And all you got to do is take your cell phone and you point it right at that little QR code there, and you will be zapped into the store where you may give us your money. In addition, Steve was kind enough to give me some. So there's some references, some resources for you that will help you in your quest to create a paramilitary organization in our own library. For instance, Agents of Freedom, the PDF, $13.95. You can get it there. You can rewind it if you pause it if you want to snap that up. And then we've got gadget guides. It's $18.95. Again, just use that QR code. It'll take you right where you need to go. And then, Steve, you also mentioned Astonishing Adventures.
Yeah.
Return of Shadow. What does Shadow stand for again?
Secret hierarchy for domination over the world.
Ooh, I like it. Very nice. And then, last but certainly not least, the Super Team Handbook, which has some archetypes and some other goodies in there for you, right?
Yep. Yeah, and some of the sample super teams are definitely pretty paramilitary ready.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Steve,
So
I
any
am
of
happily
those,
inducting you into the Hall of Acronym Fame.
I love it. Yeah. So pick those up. They will aid you in your quest to build and create a paramilitary organization. But that's, you've got the books, let's say, or you're getting the books, you're sitting down, you're going to map out your plan. What do we do first? What are some considerations when putting together a paramilitary organization?
Before we jump into that, I do want to brag about an acronym I came up with today.
Oh, please. I was going to ask you, Alex, and I just breezed on by.
So, as we may or may not know, Guardians of Haven is coming back on Wednesday. And last season, they had a handy-dandy robot named Watson who followed them around. Well, Watson turned out to be a jerk. So now they have a new robot who's going to follow them named Moriarty, which is the multiversal operator for regulations, instruction, analysis, risk, and training of Yahoos.
Also, you have a very storied past with like all the like variations of MODOK. Was it MODOK?
Oh yes.
Yes.
Yeah. There's some really fun ones. I think he did about 15 or something. It appeared.
I did 26 of them, one for every letter of the alphabet.
One for every letter of the alphabet.
26. That is, absolutely. Yeah, you were certainly the founder of the club. Hey, Drama Dork, good to see you. Claude says Agents of Acronym. That's really good. Moriarty, multiversal operator for regulations, instruction, analysis, risk, and training of Yahoos. That is quite the acronym.
Yes. I'm sure that heroes will find that very educational.
So step one, define your acronym.
Right. Step one, come up with a great acronym.
Yeah,
and
I like it.
And work from there.
Lovely. And then,
as we call it in the biz, a backronym.
A backronym, exactly.
Oh my!
Right.
Very nice.
As the line from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. goes, obviously someone really wanted our initials to spell shield.
That's right. So figure out what word you're trying to say. Gravy, perhaps. I don't know. I'm not here to judge. But pick your poison, and then what? You got to fill it with people.
Well,
now, paramilitary doesn't necessarily mean nefarious, right?
No, it does not. There are heroic paramilitary organizations and villainous ones, and potentially sort of neutral ones that could go either way. Usually mercenaries.
I see. Okay, yeah.
So,
oops,
I
just pulled the cord right out of the wall. But anyway, do mercenaries generally gather in a paramilitary organization?
Well, that's usually how they get work. Mercenaries. They either are small mercenary groups, or they're a big paramilitary organization available for hire.
I see. Oh yeah. Or I suppose a big paramilitary organization hires the mercs to go do the work they can't do, or something. Yeah, I like that.
Governments or rich people. Sure.
Right, exactly. Great robots and vanguards of York. Very specific role they're after there. They really could have ended Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on that line because it peaked there, says David Bullock.
Okay.
That's great. Oh boy, Agents of Ampersand. Wow, the American Metahuman and Paranormal Emergency Response Assistance and Neutralization Department. That is, it's intense.
So I think that this episode is just going to be us letting the chat make up acronyms.
Acronym us to death.
Troy posting them on the screen for me and Alex to react to them.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean that's 90% of a paramilitary organization is having a good
Just
acronym.
having a good acronym,
Well, 90% of ours,
right?
for sure. I mean, it's
It
for
lets you
us.
be
It's
really
either
clever when designing shell companies for them to hide inside.
Hmm.
that's
Also very
great.
important.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, their business fronts and all that stuff. But I would say we are good at acronyms and titles of our
Yes.
books.
Mm-hmm.
We need them to be just about the length of a Facebook post. Yeah. I blame Alex is grand. I do too.
Well, that's fair.
Fear is good. Okay, yeah, yeah. So, friends,
Fear
do
is
do
great.
feel free. Yeah, do feel free to drop your acronyms in chat. I may or may not react to them because we got some stuff to talk about. We can't just be acronyming all day like
It's
just
true.
some ne'er do wells. Um,
Hmm. Right.
without jobs trying to start an organization. So I guess really what it boils down to is why do you want them, right? Like, what do you need
Right.
them for? Are they the bad guys? Are they
Well,
the good bad guys? Are they or do you,
depends somewhat
yeah.
on the kind of campaign you're running.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Are
yeah.
these paramilitary organizations going to be supporting characters and or adversaries for superheroes?
Hmm.
Are the paramilitary organizations the focus of the campaign themselves? And the player characters are members of said organization? Um,
Mm.
that those have very different sort of styles to them. It depends on what kind of focus you want your game to have.
Yeah, that makes
Ag-
sense.
Agents of Freedom talks about the notion of playing agent level characters in that type of game, and that's certainly one of your options. But it also depends on what you're coming up with the organization for.
Gotcha. Yeah, I could also see the shadowy organization being a responsible for like the puppeteer behind the scenes. That they uncover or you
Hmm.
know figure out. There's always, it seems to me, whenever there is sort of um, these organizations or entities, they're always sort of other countries' sort of parallel organization that's sort of like theirs.
Hmm. Yep.
Like, yeah, and then there's always like that, the gorgeous, like what's her name? Oh, is she Black Widow? Yeah. Isn't
Yep.
she a Russian? Yeah. Wasn't she a Russian agent?
Yeah. She was
Yeah.
originally a Russian spy in the
Yeah.
Cold War era of comics, and later on developed into the they developed the whole Red Room background and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, just for folks in the chat, you're sharing your acronyms with the world, so don't be surprised if someone steals it. So, yeah, Adrian mentions trying to name a paramilitary group created by brand management in my universe. So these names are very useful. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. And feel free, take whichever one you like.
Right.
Um,
Brand
so
tactics.
yeah. So I'm also thinking about there's so much secrecy and duplicity, like the layers and layers of stuff that you can kind of
Yep.
create, and
Well,
that.
as
Go ahead.
folks have mentioned, the paramilitary organization stuff also shades into a lot of espionage.
Hmm.
And so there's a lot of especially Cold War era spy versus spy stuff.
Very fun. And then does Gadget Guides cover off on some of the things you would expect in a sort of a spy
Yeah.
situation?
In fact, there's a whole chapter on espionage tech
Nice. I love that.
as far as that goes, which is pretty useful.
Super fun. Okay. And so what are some other considerations? I suppose we can talk about like how militaristic it is versus,
Hmm.
I mean, I guess, it's paramilitary. So, I mean, it's analogous to, American military, whatever, or, it doesn't have to be American, I suppose, but just
Hmm.
military chain of command, that kind of stuff. Are there
Right.
other paramilitaries? I mean, like, I suppose they kind of have their fingers in everything, right?
Yeah, well,
Sometimes.
there's defense contractors, which are
Mhm.
not necessarily not government associated, at least, and have their own way of running things. But I think there's
Oh, that's a
based on
good
their
point.
membership, there's a lot of militaristic hierarchy at play, just because that's what the experience is for a lot of the people signing up for those sorts of things.
Yeah.
When it works, right? I mean, they keep the order, and could a paramilitary organization be a security branch of, let's say, a megacorp?
Yep. Very easily.
Interesting. Okay, that's fun too.
Yep.
And the thing I really love about a good paramilitary organization is headquarters.
Right.
So many fun ways you can go with that. Now, I seem to remember on the Patreon, didn't we do some kind of a mechanic or something that involved HQs, and they kind of had a life of their own, or sort of a alternate way
Mhm.
of? Yeah, I think that might have been something
Yeah.
our that Crystal put together.
Yeah.
Former
One of the uses
cast member.
of challenge points was along those
Ooh, yeah.
lines of being able to sort of activate various installation features, things like that.
I'm gonna dig around in that Patreon and see if I can't find it. Claude, our good friend Claude, was so good to help transcribe all of those files from one place to the next, and
Mm,
so got to dig through that library. Let's see what
That
chat
Claude's pretty
is.
great.
right?
He's pretty good. He's pretty good. Let's see. Cash control and assistance of superhumans. Oh,
Hmm.
that's clever. Yeah, I like
Yep.
that. That's from Julio.
And you'll definitely find dealing with supers is definitely one of the things that paramilitary organizations do.
Yeah.
They either are there to support superheroes or they're there to make sure that they don't get out of line. Or in some cases, they're there to ensure that they don't exist at all, if at all
Yeah,
possible.
Right.
I really like Argus in the DC universe for that.
Mhm.
They've
I
also,
also
yeah,
like
they also have,
organizations that don't have a lot of paramilitariness, like Arcade in Earth Prime. I think Arcade is really
Hmm.
good.
Yep.
now tell me about them.
So they're a supernatural enforcement agency in the Earth Prime universe that
Right.
Oh,
is dedicated to solving street level monsters and magic mayhem. Generally, stuff that's maybe a little too dirty and a little too esoteric for superheroes to get involved in.
Right.
And they have a
okay.
lot of different interesting mechanics. Like there's a set amount of people who are allowed to know about the existence of Arcade on a metaphysical level. Like once a certain
Yeah.
threshold is hit, the last person in line forgets that Arcade exists.
Right. There's a magical spell that literally defines how many people can know Arcade exists at any given time,
Oh, I love that. I love that.
which is an
So when we're
interesting way
talking
to
about,
protect your secrecy.
yeah, that's really clever, super clever. I also, so I'm thinking about paramilitary hierarchy, and what the org kind of looks like, and
Hmm.
there's some fun stuff that you can do as far as some of the things you would face if you running up against a paramilitary organization. And the first one I think of are like, the grunts,
Right.
the rank and file, I guess,
Yeah.
yeah,
The the foot
the minions.
soldiers, the infantry. Yeah, as it were.
Yes. Yeah.
Now I gotta
And
know, Steve, are you a uniform or a non-uniform paramilitary organization?
It depends on the organization. For bad guy organizations, definitely uniforms.
Hmm. I
For
love beekeepers.
but right. I mean, but good guys, they tend to be a little more individualistic and not as
wait
interested
a
in
minute.
conformity.
Did you say beekeepers?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
guys who work for AIM are dressed in big yellow
Yep.
suits that look
But
like
dress.
beekeepers.
Yeah, they dress in yellow suits with the flat hats, and it
I
does.
love
It
it.
looks
I
like
love
they're
it.
wearing beekeeper outfits.
That's great. Now, somebody mentioned here, I think it was David Bullock, that the A Team would be considered a paramilitary organization.
Yeah. I
Maybe
mean,
more like,
Just a mercenary group.
yeah,
Merc group. Yeah,
paramilitary
yeah,
group certainly. I mean, they're all ex-military, and
right.
that was
Yeah,
kind of part of their big thing.
absolutely. But so, okay, so if we're looking at, we've got the sort of the minions, the grunts, the soldiers, the militia. Uh,
Right.
you also can play around with some next level. One of the other things I think about paranormal, I almost said, paramilitary organizations is they may have access to technology and stuff that the you know that our government wouldn't, because they're a little
Mhm.
more off the leash.
Yes.
So I could see some high tech armored guys, or some.
hmm Yep, there are plenty of paramilitary organizations and groups on Earth Prime that have access to some basic power armor suits
Yeah,
and similar sorts of things, advanced tech and weapons. That's all pretty common for that sort of thing. They have the
absolutely.
most
And then
cutting edge stuff.
you got your next level, which are like the generals, right?
Well, you'll
Well, there's
have
the themed
yeah,
henchmen.
right, right. There's the lieutenant's level, kind of in the middle, where you have
Yeah,
all
yeah.
your
Odd
specialists
jobs.
and
Exactly.
special
The
forces. And
the specialists. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. I dig that. And then, but then also you've got you contend rather with the tanks and the helicopters and you
hmm
can have a lot of fun with that stuff. Um,
absolutely,
Let me see here. What is Chet saying?
lots of toys.
Ooh-doo-doo-doo. Oh yeah, yeah. So Tempo says, if the GI Joes were paramilitary superheroes who were officially serving the USA, are the A-Team mercenaries who could help anyone, including enemies of the USA? They wouldn't.
Oh,
I think they were patriots. I mean, like, they were pretty.
yeah, I tend to think so. I mean, honestly, the A team were out to clear their own names as
That's
far as
right.
that went, and they were being pursued by a faction of the government.
Yeah, yeah. Um, the paramilitary organization was created to fill the void after so many heroes died in a major battle between superheroes and supervillains.
hmm
Okay, sure.
That's
Could be
absolutely a
a great.
campaign concept right there.
I love it. Um, Nate's talking about rainbows of colors. I like that. Having a nice little trip over there. Um, the first rule of arcade is, what is the first rule of arcade?
I forget.
I do too. Uh, yeah, Nate says uniforms all the way. Paul Rua's talking about lieutenants is where the fun is at. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, absolutely. And Paul says you got to
I just
have a bunch
remembered.
of Watto guys.
I just remembered Austin Powers' odd job is named Random Task, and I'm so here for that.
Right.
I love it. And then also, there's just the fun of you know gearing up to face whomever you're going to battle or fight. And
Yep.
and they, whatever their signature whatever is, they could have all kinds of technology, but then you've got
Yep.
their militaristic arm and all those people to contend with. What are some other elements that folks want to consider when they're.
I will mention for folks who are
Yeah.
interested, if you're running a super agent campaign or game, a great opportunity in gameplay is when somebody wants to do um, basically wants to do a spend a hero point to have a gadget or some other thing handy that they would find useful in a given scene. Play out the flashback scene of them getting assigned the gadget from quartermaster or whoever the gadget person
How
is at their
fun.
agency, and be like, then and they can be like, all right, this is what you do with it, this is what it does, be careful with it, don't lose it, and then drop back into gameplay, and the character can be like, lucky I've got this.
That is a really clever way to do that. Super fun. I love it. What's Gatchaman? Gatchaman?
Uh, Gatchaman is
Gatchaman?
a giant Japanese robot, or no,
Oh,
Gatchaman is the uh, other adventurers with the bird theme thing. With anyway,
the
it's an anime.
pterodactyl. I don't, it's
It's
an
an anime.
anime. Gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My entertainment collection does not include a lot of anime. This is
Bernard, Batman is very much a one-man paramilitary organization. Although these days it's
true.
Batman and all of his adopted kids, so
That's right.
they
Mhm.
Yeah, and Bat
they
Dog
constitute
and
a whole paramilitary organization.
what's his mother's name again?
Martha.
Yeah.
That's funny. Superman's mother's name too.
You're kidding
You'll
me.
never
The League
convince
of
me they're not the
Marthas?
same woman. Martha
Wow,
Wayne
that's fun.
faked her death to run away and live on a
Mhm.
farm with Jonathan Kent.
Right.
How funny.
She had Thomas Wayne assassinated.
She just decided to keep the first name.
Right.
Mhm.
That's great. This, I love this. Is such a great scene where, yeah, doors open and you see, as you're kind of walking down the hall of,
Mhm.
you see all the kinds of things going on, an explosion in the
Right.
lab, some grinding of gears, ninjas fighting each other. Yeah, super fun.
Yeah.
Let's
It's
see.
like the tour through the evil flying headquarters of the Red Room in Black Widow, where it's like and here's the room where all the widows are training, and
Yeah,
yeah, of course you want to see all that.
yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Setting the
There's so many
stage.
cool things. Yeah. I think that's part of the appeal of the paramilitary organization is getting to see the organization part. So R&D and the quartermaster
Yes, yeah.
assigning things and
Yep.
dealing with some of the office politics bullshit that you wouldn't deal with in an ordinary superhero game.
Yeah.
You
It's
right,
definitely
right.
fun.
Did you blow up my lunch again? That kind of
Yep.
fun
Yep.
ridiculousness.
Yeah. I
What did I
mean,
tell you about eating up fish in the matter
Right.
dematerialization ray?
That's right. That's fun.
if you're running that kind of game, definitely build out your supporting cast at headquarters, and who is the
Yeah.
character who gives the agents their assignments and their briefings. Who is the boss's administrative assistant. Who is the
Right. Yeah.
gatekeeper. Who
The
decides
brassy.
who gets to see the
Yeah,
boss at any
yeah.
given time. Those kinds of things. Those are fun characters to play around with.
I think about the classic like laboratory crew where you've got the brassy,
Yep.
punk rock chick who's, she's just wild and out there, but one of the smartest people in the room. And, like
Mhm.
those tropes are super fun to play around with.
Yeah, totally.
Um, okay, so in defining all this stuff, like we got all the gadgets, we got all the people, we've got all the, details as to, who's running the show and all
Mhm.
of what their motivations are and stuff. Um, when you're mapping your paramilitary organization to an actual campaign, what are some of the things to think about, like as far as fleshing out a whole story?
Mhm.
Yeah,
What are
I,
some
I think
considerations?
I think the coolest opportunity you have is you have a baked in mission assignment procedure. There's
Right.
somebody who's
Mm,
going to have something for you to do. And there's a lot of play there where you can set out all these tasks for the heroes to do. And then the question becomes, how do we change this? Are we double agents? Are they trying to burn us? Like, are we doing things for somebody higher up in the organization that's going to make us look bad and we're the fall person for them? I think there's a
Right.
lot of the benefactor relationship you have a lot of cool opportunities with.
And definitely give some thought in advance to how covert things need to be, because that's going to have a
yeah,
big effect on the kind of game you want to run. If the characters are supposed to be secret agents, then obviously that's a different kind of game than if they can just call up a bunch of tanks and warplanes and whatnot to bomb an enemy location if they want to. And is there going to be much in the way of like battlefield combat?
oh
Is this
right.
going to be two paramilitary armies arrayed against each other? Or is it mostly covert agents in the field?
Grant asks an interesting question. What would be the difference between a paramilitary group and a large merc group? And I'm not sure I can put my finger on a large merc group.
Largely funding.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
Sure.
paramilitary group has the cooler toys, is my.
right. I mean, honestly, really large mercenary organizations are going to be indistinguishable from armies.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
You know, I mean, if they have
With
enough personnel and enough equipment, they are effectively an army.
Yeah.
so
If I
would
was trying to
then
solve this
yeah, yeah.
problem as a storyteller, I think the paramilitary organization would have the better toys, but the mercs would have the bigger personality. Like there'd be more
Mhm.
individuality with the
Sure,
mercenaries as opposed to
sure.
the
Yeah.
paramilitary group.
And of course, the thing with mercenaries is that they're loyalties are going to vary.
Mm.
They're
Yeah,
working.
shift and change. Yeah,
They're loyal to whoever's paying them right now. You
right.
know, and that can create some interesting dynamics with mercenary characters. Is in one adventure they may be working with the player characters, and then in another adventure they're like, nope, sorry, we got hired by the people who want you to stay out of here, so it's our job now to keep you out.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Or, and
I
they
really
could
like
be a fun sort of. What was
I
that?
really like Silver Sable for that in the Spider-Man universe. I think
Mhm.
her organization's
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
The line for mercenaries is always, "Hey, it's nothing personal. You
Mhm.
know,
right, absolutely.
it's just a job."
It's
Sure
just a
feels
job,
personal.
Right,
Hey, yeah, yeah, exactly. If it helps, I thought you were real funny. Or,
No,
yeah.
Spider-Man, that's just your life that feels really personal.
right.
That's awesome. Yeah, that makes sense to me. It really does. And I suppose too, there is that how clandestine, is it so
Mhm,
super spy that, that it feels like,
Mhm.
a James Bond affair, uh,
right.
with all the backing of the military, all that good stuff, either hunting or working for you. I mean, that's a lot of fun.
Mhm,
Um, Let's see, Keystone. So I just remembered the
yeah.
Paragon's campaign setting for 2E has several groups that could provide
Mm,
good inspiration for a
it
paramilitary game.
does. It does.
Nice. And where would they get that?
I believe they can still get that at our web store as well.
Is that the case? I'm gonna have to look
Is
into that.
Paragons still available in PDF? I think so.
I think so. I think so.
Pretty
Silver
sure.
Sable and the Wild Pack.
Yeah,
Love that.
yeah. And of
Where's
course,
my money, honey?
it's worth mentioning, speaking of Silver Sable and the like, that belonging to a paramilitary organization or being a mercenary or being a part of that life is also the backstory for countless superheroes and villains.
Mhm.
So tons and tons of heroes are like, yes, I was a mercenary in wherever, or trained with whomever, this organization, that kind of thing, before they got powers, or maybe because they got powers.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that a lot. It,
Yeah. I think
it also
another
seems.
cool opportunity with paramilitary organizations is the rival organizations. That comes
Yeah,
up a lot in the genre, like
Yes,
Joe and
yeah.
Cobra and Autobots and Decepticons came to my mind for some
right.
reason.
Well,
Sure, yeah,
and there's
well, a
also
lot.
the arch enemy organizations that are just
Yeah, the
Mhm.
the
blatantly opposed
parallel.
to each other. The GI Joe versus Cobra sort of scenario.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's also the sort of rival organizations of you know the countries, organizations that serve different nation states, for example. And I'm obviously loyal to my country and their interests first, but we both agree that if the world gets destroyed, neither of our nations is going to prosper, so we might have to cooperate in this instance.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Or they also could be the intervening, friendly but competitive, the
Hmm.
MI6 or, kind of group
Right.
that pops in and is like, all right, Americans, we got you covered. Here you are again. Here we are again. Like that kind of rivalry. It's super
Hmm.
fun.
Guess this is going to be a loud mission, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Super fun. And yeah, and a really great way or opportunity or space to develop those classic characters or a spin on it,
Hmm.
that you can kind of make your own. I'm wondering too. One of my favorite elements of Mutants Masterminds just generally are complications and how much they play a role in kind of fleshing out your story. And I could
Hmm.
imagine there being so many some of them we just talked about, conflicting
Yes.
orgs and but there's also the internal struggle.
Yep. There's internal politics to an
Mhm.
Yeah,
organization, and dealing with that. There's always the agents, and player characters are perfect for this. There was always the agents who are going off mission or going off book and won't do things according to the regulations, and the
right.
hard ass commander who is tired of their nonsense and their insubordination, and that's always a great conflict to play around with.
Absolutely. Grant asks, would Hydra be considered a paramilitary organization
Oh
or
yes,
group?
absolutely,
Certainly. Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
Let's see. Oh, Paul mentions if you're using third edition, the Game Master's Guide has some mass combat rules.
Yes, if you want to do
Mhm.
those big military conflicts, you have definitely some guidelines you can use to do that.
I dig it. Super fun. I'm looking at our chat. Apropos of nothing, I just reminded that I am trying to say less, and it is one of the hardest things I
It really
have
is.
ever done.
It's
It's
very difficult.
it's like I'm addicted or something. I went and I had to stop counting my ums in the last episode because it's just like
Hmm.
this is getting embarrassing. Paul mentions a book. I gotta recommend the book The Rook by Daniel O'Malley, a great combination of espionage, superpowers, and paramilitary group. Yeah, right. It sounds like it's right
Cool.
up our alley. The
I'll have
Rook
to
by
check that out.
Daniel O'Malley. Check that out. Dr. Mindbender. Who's that?
Oh, that's a character from GI Joe.
Oh, is it
Uh,
really? Okay, yeah, yeah.
works for
Not
Cobra.
loved. I loved Cobra. They were so fun, mostly because of Destro, and it was almost my name. And so, for a long time, I tried to get people to make my nickname Destroy, but they refused.
I can't believe that they didn't go along with that.
I know, right? I know it's just so rude. Um, so yeah, what are some other things to consider? I mean, I'd imagine you could spend, frankly, your whole life plotting out the perfect,
Sure.
paramilitary org. What are some shortcuts or things that you might want to consider when you're building out this entity?
Well, I think one thing you want to consider that we talked a little bit about is that the ability of the organization to assign the characters missions
Yeah.
is super useful, but you also want to consider how much the overall sort of hierarchy of the agency affects things.
Mm,
Because also, as we talked about, player characters are notoriously, not fond of following orders
Mhm.
beyond, the initial, hey, here's an opportunity to go blow things up.
yeah.
Um, so you have to consider what the happy medium is there and to what degree the agents, player characters have a fair amount of autonomy. Um, a fun structure to build into your organization, again, if it's covert, is that it's a cell structure. And therefore, the characters make up a sort of semi independent cell of the organization, but they're supposed to have minimal contact in order to maintain security, and that affords them a lot of independence. They can
Yeah.
pretty much do what they want, apart from sort of covertly receiving orders and passing information up the line.
Maybe some
Um,
resources. Yeah. Yeah.
right, exactly. And so that tends to be a more comfortable sort of spot for a lot of players. Then you're expected to fill out reports and you're expected to do exactly as you're told and nothing more. And especially as is often the case in these sorts of organizations, you won't even know why it is you're doing what you're doing. It's go here, do this, report back. And oftentimes it'll be like, okay, great, well done. And that's it. That's all you ever find out. Like, why did we do that?
I hate to
I
tell you, you are my eyeballs and my ears. You don't have to make any decisions. You just have to
Right.
provide
So how
information.
how much into puzzles do you two get when it comes to this? Because I could also see it being pretty rich, sort of topic to mine for go to the
Hmm.
place, find the thing, escape room style stuff. Really, you can run to the gamut, I imagine.
Yeah, it depends. It depends. I hate saying this answer every time, but it depends.
It does. It does. I agree.
There
I
are stories where the players I'm playing with will really love to dive into that minutia, and it's really vital to the story that we're telling. And then there are some where they're like, "We're just going to call Aegis when this is done and have them come arrest these guys," and I don't want any other contact with Aegis.
Right. And I do think oftentimes puzzles and riddles and all of those sorts of things can uh, frustrate players more than anything else,
Mhm.
especially if
Yeah.
they don't get a very clear sense of what's next, how they're supposed to figure it out. So I'm always prepared to offer that, helpful guidance, of like, hey, for a hero point, we'll, kind of move this along, sort of a thing,
Right. Yeah.
and especially if they're not enjoying that aspect of it.
Take a minute
Uh,
to read the room and see how they're.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely
Always.
read the room and see, sometimes players totally groove on that sort of thing and they're very into it. But you also have
Yeah.
to watch out for when they're very, very so into it that they are going off in a completely wrong direction,
Right. Right. Chasing down a
and
clue that ain't. Yeah.
that ain't. And therefore, you have to really consider either can I work this clue into my story and make sure they're right,
Yeah.
or do I just need to tell them to stop? like,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. You are looking in the wrong direction. Yeah.
yep,
Desmond brings up something, Steve, related to. I think the idea of independence versus protocol is vital
hmm
to employ in the moments where the orders stop coming. Having an established primary, alternate, contingency, and emergency routes or plan. And yeah. Yeah.
sure,
Mhm.
absolutely. And I think another one of this is another one of those areas where liberal use of hero points is great for reflecting that level of competency that your agent characters are supposed to have,
Mhm.
Yeah.
without necessarily forcing the players to come up with all of those things in advance. It's
Yes.
totally okay for a player to hand you a hero point and say, "My character has a weapons cache or a safe house or whatever in this city, or knows somebody who does," because my agent is super competent and would do that, or the the I know a guy effect,
Mhm.
of
Yes. Yeah.
your characters are in this foreign city and one of the characters, players hands you a hero point and says, does my character, who does my character know here, who can help us out?
Fun.
This might be off the reservation a little bit, but how do we think that like the Continental from the John Wick universe falls under this purview?
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of the espionage style of things, you know. I think that yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, I'm thinking more like the Masquerade version, where there's the secret other world that's going on under the surface of the real world, and that's where the heroes
Yeah,
operate. Yes.
that kind of fits the sort of arcade vibe, in
Yeah.
some ways.
I also like the we play by a different set of rules here. Like, this
hmm
is the
Hmm.
on like the neutral zone where you will come across an enemy and no assassinations in my lobby and like that kind of.
Yep, and
I
that
love
can be a
that.
fun element to play with in your game if there is an environment like that. Is there a neutral ground? Is there a place where the characters can meet up with their worst enemies?
Yeah.
And be assured that nobody's going to just start shooting each other.
Yeah. I
Absolutely.
played a really
Hey,
fun game at Origins this year that tapped into that called Covens and Crucibles that I jokingly told the guy was just John Witch instead of John Wick.
John Witch. That's great.
Mm.
Just as an update in the chat, Nate Robbins says Godzilla. Also, Nate shares the Chippendales and then
Chippendale Rescue
also,
Rangers, not
Thank
not the
you. I,
dancers.
like you
I
just
was
said,
like, how
Chippendales.
does that factor in?
I know, right? That's a paramilitary organizations right there.
Right.
Uh, yeah. So anyway, non sequitur Nate doing his job.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. Spectre from James Bond. Yeah, that's
Yep.
good. I like that.
Mhm. And MI6?
Let's
Is he
see.
MI6 or MI5?
MI6, I thought, but I could be
Who's
wrong.
I
MI5? Is
thought it
that
was.
Ninjak I'm thinking of?
I'm not sure.
Um, and then who was Jason Bourne? What was his deal?
Well, that's the, whole Born agenda stuff.
Yeah, Bourne Identity,
Born
Bourne.
Identity,
Yeah, Born to be
it's
Wild.
another, yeah, I was gonna say it's another, strain of, espionage, spy versus spy
Yeah,
scenario.
yeah. Um, The Thunder from Down Under. Yes, that's exact. That paramilitary organization
Oh,
stands.
I totally agree, David Bullock. I think that, like cover as a, exotic dance troupe would be perfect, for
Disarming.
a campaign, right? Very
Yeah.
disarming.
A little
Like
side hustle.
where were you hiding that gun?
Right.
You don't want to
Exactly.
know.
Why are you so damn slippery? Yeah, yeah. I like it. There you go. Yeah, so
I get
that's
body
something for
oil
folks.
as a tax expense or write off on my
Right.
taxes for both my jobs.
That's
Exactly.
right. That's right. Let's see. MI13, is that a real thing from Excalibur system?
Well,
MI
it's a real fictional thing. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, because yeah, how far does the MIs go over there?
I don't know what the
Cobras.
full list is,
I wonder. I mean, I'm gonna look into it.
but
I know that
yeah,
the
As Paul points out, MI5 is domestic counterintelligence and MI6 is international
I see.
espionage, inside and
Gotcha.
outside of the country.
Who did
Minimum.
Ninjak work for?
Who did number 2 work for?
Right.
I should
Bernard
know
says,
this.
Alex, check out the
Ninjak is
game
MI6.
Yeah.
Outgunned book called the game Outgunned book called World
Yeah.
of Killers. John
Yep.
Wick setting, literally. Okay, cool.
Indeed.
Nice.
Trinity Continuum Assassins is also basically that whole sort of setting.
Nice. Apook, I'm not touching that one. So how about this? Are there some,
Troy,
because
the lessons are working.
they really are. They really are. One of the issue of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic has CRAP, or Committee to Rebuild American
Mhm.
Patriotism.
Yep.
I like it.
I
CRAP.
love that for us.
Survivalists. Yeah, I do believe.
Yeah. Always watch
Yeah.
out for your, uh, acronyms, intentional or otherwise.
Yeah, they're opposed
Right.
by CPAP, the Committee to Keep America Asleep Still.
I like
Exactly.
it. Let's see a bit of the FBI and CIA to give Americans context. Yeah, sure. Thanks, Simon. What I was going to say is what. So not everybody's a map maker or a a
Mhm.
cartographer, and
Sure.
where might we find, or what are some ways that we can kind of express the vastness of an organization, and mapping out their territory and also their lair or their HQ and all that good stuff. Uh, how do you do it if you're not a cartographer, if you don't have a map? Well, what's a good way to kind of convey that?
I find often that when you're trying to build something that seems enormous, all you have to be able to do is answer 2 questions. Just a surface level question and then 1 level of explanation of that surface level thing, and that will give the illusion of depth to anybody asking additional questions.
Oh, I
Mhm.
see. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's a nifty trick. So you're saying you just have to know what's right in front of you, and then maybe what's the next layer down. So
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
interesting,
Our
clever, even.
base is in an abandoned subway tunnel because blah blah blah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, excellent.
Right.
There, Paul says there are a bunch
If
of there. Yeah, please.
Go ahead, Troy.
No. Go for it.
I was going to say if the organization is international in scope, figure out how, it's divided up in terms of are there zones or divisions or whatever.
Oh yeah,
And, like where is the headquarters of each one? You know, like the European
right.
division of this is headquartered in London, and maybe if you're feeling like it, come up with like what the headquarters is like to give it some style, and you're good.
Yeah, I like it. I like that a lot. Hey, just as a reminder, friends, if you are just tuning in or you're watching on demand, you can. Uh, we've got some resources for you. One of those is the Agents of Freedom PDF. That QR code will take you directly to the store. In addition, we've got gadget guides. You can pick up that PDF there as well. And Gadget Guides also has a print version. You can
Yep.
pick up that
Mhm.
using that QR code. And then we have the Astonishing Adventures: A Return of Shadow. You can pick that up. And then
Which
the
I will
Super Team
I will
Handbook.
note that Return
Yes.
of Shadow comes with third edition versions of all of the agent archetypes from
Ooh,
uh, Agents of Freedom. All 8 of them, I think.
nice. Very, very nice. And then the Super Team Handbook, of course.
Yep.
Um, that will help out. And then as much as the chat likes to give us trouble, I highly recommend you going back in time and just looking at what these ne'er-do-wells are talking about, because they bring up some really great books, some
Hmm.
suggestions, additional Mutants Masterminds, resources, Paragons, all kinds of great resources for you that I begrudgingly, refer you to. Let's see what else we got going on here. Oh yeah. This is good. Let me jump. John mentions if you want to run a satirical
Yep.
or semi-comedic evil paramilitary spy organization, reading Next Wave Agents of Hate,
Yes, indeed.
and that's a book or
It
comic.
is. It was a comic series. I'm sure it's collected in trades at this point.
Gotcha. So you can find that.
John also mentions the classic Thunder Agents, which is definitely a comic book product of the era of Man from Uncle.
Mm.
Oh yeah,
For folks who also want to check out either the movie or the series it was based on.
yeah. I found
But
the classic Avengers. The
yep,
TV show, the spy
the
TV show,
original,
super fun.
yes, absolutely.
Movie,
Avengers is great.
so fun. Yeah,
Thunder Agents is interesting because it's a great crossover between paramilitary spy organization and superheroes, because the elite
yeah.
agents of the organization all have devices that give them superpowers in one form or another, but also some of them also have rather unfortunate drawbacks.
I hope their nemesis was like the Lightning Syndicate, because thunder always follows lightning.
That's right. You
Uh,
better knock on
they
wood
they usually, as I remember, went up against an organization that was called Spider, if I remember
with a
Mm.
correctly.
Y.
Nope.
Oh, I figured it was, but no. Actually, in non sequitur Nate's, sort of non sequiturness,
Non sequivers.
non sequivers. That's exactly right. That's canon now.
Yes.
Google Maps. But that's
Yes.
actually a very interesting notion that I'm going to unpack for him. But there's plenty of places you can search for, and then you can even print them
There
out. And
really is. I mean, and Google Earth is a ridiculous resource for the modern game master, especially if you want to do
really
a
is, yeah.
globe-trotting game and like zoom in on a particular street corner in Sri
Oh,
Lanka
sure.
or
And you can
wherever.
just walk around. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
great. Wally Wood's Thunder Agents, and much of it is
Yep.
in the public domain. Very cool. I dig that a lot. Yeah, and I just think about how fun a Google Maps would be if you're, and you really could just travel to a whole different city, and then okay, you're here,
Yep.
and oh no, there's this, and yeah, that super the non sequiverse. Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
Nate's non sequiverse. What else are we talking about? We are. Oh my
Bernard
gosh. Okay,
asks, "Why did we talk about why heroes work with paramilitary organizations?"
Oh, that's a good question.
a very good question. We
I
didn't.
mean, broadly speaking, especially in the comics, um, the good guy paramilitary organizations obviously were the heroic forces of law and order that were intended to protect the world against the forces of evil. Um, Generally speaking, the good guy paramilitary organizations, like superheroes, tend to have a much more reactive, kind of agenda. Their job is to deal with crises and threats. Um, so they're, not. I do like the firemen and not police analogy a lot of times.
Mm,
That oftentimes they're around to, when things, you know, crisis happens, they're there to respond and help people and protect people from it. Um, they're not necessarily going around, invading other countries or the like, or trying to, enforce anything.
right.
But they are trying to protect the world from threats. and that's usually why heroes are ending up hooking up with them.
Makes sense to me. Let's
Yeah,
see.
it could be
Simon
a
says,
question of resources, like
Yeah.
the agency has things that the heroes can't provide on their own,
"Oh yeah,
Yep.
or training, or
That's
just the
the other thing,
legitimacy.
is that organizations provide all those things, and the infrastructure alone is often a huge benefit to a group of heroes, especially if none
right."
of them happen to be billionaires.
Or yeah, or even in exchange for, we will continue to leave you alone, but we need you
Yep.
to help us with this thing. Yeah, yeah,
There is often that very subtle, um, or not so subtle suggestion: if you're not working for us, then the people working for us are going to be coming to arrest you.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, your
I
choice
think
in this
that's one of
matter
the
is
that relationship between Invincible and the Guardians of the Globe, or the Global Defense Agency. I think is
Hmm.
that's a really good example of the give and take of a hero working for
Yeah.
a government organization, and some of the benefits and trials that come along with it.
Yep.
lovely. Well, so we could be doing this for another hour. I'm starting to get ramped up and
Easily.
thinking about creative solutions, and we're talking about maps, all that kind of good stuff. And then I look at the clock, and we have got 5 minutes left.
Right.
How time has
It's just
flown.
the way it works. Absolutely. Well, how about we do this, Steve? What is happening in your world, in the Steve Kenson cinematic universe?
So I am hard at work on making my revisions and reading through playtest feedback on the Origin Edition for M&M4. Things are ongoing over on the Atomic Think Tank, and you can follow our update spreadsheet there as far as
Yeah.
where things are going and what things are in process, what things are still to be done, what things have already been largely settled. All of that, um, for folks who either have the playtest edition or are thinking about getting the playtest edition. We're probably looking at another couple of weeks of playtest. We're looking to get things wrapped up in the beginning of October, so that I can focus on just the revision work,
Yeah.
and everything that comes after that, because there's a bunch of things that are in the do all of this stuff after everything else is
Right.
finalized. You know,
That's right.
um, so that's where we're headed. So we're basically in the home stretch for playtest at this point.
Now, here's the thing, friends. This is not the time to sit and get creative with feedback and to imagine a new world. Essentially, this is the time where we really need you to listen to the prompts and to really focus in on some of the stuff that very specifically is being asked for. And as far be it for me to tell folks not to to wend their way through the path. Of sharing their hopes and dreams and all of that. But if you want to be
Yep.
helpful to the process, we really need to focus in on the asks because they're
Yeah.
really
Indeed.
critical. Yeah, excellent. And then I of course have the QR code on the screen. If you're looking for your hardback copy, all you got to do is scan that.
Soft hard copy, but it's a soft cover.
Softback. So sorry. Yes,
Yes.
softback. Your softback copy, which was hard to get until now. You can head over to the store and you can pick it up
Yep.
and you will love it. But yeah, better get in there and do it quick. Fantastic, Alex. What's going on with you?
Lots of stuff. I'm looking at notes that Steve has been putting together for fourth edition. I'm full steam ahead on Event Horizon,
Mhm.
keeping an eye out for stuff for the Scottish Handbook, which I guess is what we're calling it now.
The source
Love
book
that
that will
for
not be
us.
named.
Yeah. I have my office hours in about 30 minutes over at twitch.tv/Untold Stories Project. So if you want to come hang out,
Nice.
I'll be over there doing that. Wednesday, I've got the season 2 premiere of Guardians of Haven. Tomorrow night, we've got our developer Q&A. There's a lot going
That's
on.
right.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. Absolutely. And then yeah. And then we've got next week, of course, our Pinewood stuff.
Mhm.
Of course, we're talking about all the stuff in the tank, and we'll dive into that with our buddy Devious here in just a minute or so. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah.
This is a great conversation. We covered a lot of ground, and again, here we've been doing this for so many years, and I think this one might be the one that we're tapped, but nope. we can talk about all kinds of things with value and depth, and hope. And also, thank you to chat for all your great suggestions. Super, super good stuff. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna find out what that's about and kill it. Okay, hey everybody. We are gonna let these two guys go. I do want to get into just once again. See you guys. Thank you so much. I want to get into the sponsors of our program. Us. We're sponsoring our own stuff. Essentially, you can pick up the Super Team Handbook. You can also grab yourself Agents of Freedom PDF, Gadget Guides, and Astonishing Adventures, Return of Shadow, and all of those will have resources for you that will help you create your paramilitary organization. Hey, here's what else is going on. We've got we are. I can't believe that we're already almost halfway through. We're exactly halfway through today, isn't it? Wow. September escapes us, but you know what that means? We're getting closer and closer to October, which means Halloween. I love Halloween. But yeah, so this week, of course, we got today, the 15th, and then we've got Thursday. On Thursday, we're going to be picking up the mantle of our little world that we're building, our setting that we're building. It's this ginormous dragon, and people have built their cities in its mouth and on its back, and there's some mystery and some intrigue and all kinds of cool stuff, and we're building it with chat, so you get to be a part of it as sort of the arbiters of our decisions. So come and check that out, 3 p.m. Pacific on Thursday, and then just an hour later, 5 p.m. Pacific, we've got Get Tanked with Troy. I'm Troy. You get to hang out with me in Zoom, and basically we just we hang out. It's been some of the coolest conversations, catching up with folks, new projects, new opportunities. We've had streamers joining us. We had Stan join us and regale us with tales of the industry and all kinds of really fun stuff. And you're invited. And guess what? You can come and you can lurk. You can hang out and just sort of chill. And we're going to certainly say hello. But we would love to see you. So that will be Thursday evening, and you can head on into the tank, and you'll see that on our calendar. Speaking of tank, it's time for us to talk about what's in the tank with our buddy Devious, and he is right here.
Hello.
Devious. How are
How's
you,
it going?
friend?
Living the dream.
You
yourself?
know it's going, and it's going, and it's going.
There you go.
And it keeps
as
on
long as
going.
it's going. If it stops going, then you have a problem.
That's true. Because sometimes when it stops, you just don't want to keep going. Like you just got to take a nap.
That's right. There you go.
Hey,
nap time is good.
Yes, yeah, I do love
it. Yes.
Talk to me about what's going on in the tank.
I would love to. First of all, we've got Guardians of Havens kind of headlining things because they're back for their season 2. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the new article. There's a lot of people, participating in the GM challenge that's up at, Make Your Pitch, Heroes of the Ages. Julio Cesar actually has 2 things in here. I've got one, and Naismith has one as well. Julio has the Heroes of the Ages, a Sociedad dos Six, the Sixth Society, which is basically based in his Sao Paulo, Brazil world that he's done. He did Earth Prime for Brazil. I've got the Heroes of the Ages, Freedom City 76. Right on, right on. Can you dig it? Basically, I'm doing a several part one where I first tell a little about the age of 1976, and then I tell about the popular slang, the technology level. My next one's actually going to be the heroes that I'm putting together for it. So who knows? Might work itself into a game. The Naismith has the Guardians of the Serum. He kind of took it as make a character from each time as well. So he has a Golden Age character, an Iron Age character, and a Bronze Age. It's all pretty cool. Definitely worth checking that out. I have an article in here. And then there's also, I just want to mention, Julio has another one, the Shadow Warriors. They're a 1990s crew. belts and pouches, baby, belts and pouches. I've got an article in here on alternate criticals. Almost everybody chooses the +5 effect because the other two options are not that enticing. But in a discussion with the Void Watching, JG, and Michael Holman over on Freedomverse, we came up with a few solutions that might, be appealing to people. Basically, we have an additional action effect. So if you get a critical, you get to add the effects of a trip to the normal damage that you do, or which would basically be knockback, or you get to do things like a disarm or whatever else. JG came up with one extra tier affliction effect. So dazed, entranced, fatigued, hindered, impaired, or vulnerable being put on, but just for one single round. Or the other one is the alternate critical effect. Basically, you have your attack power. You kind of make it at the very beginning. You take half the value of that power, and it works just like a linked power to add on to the effect that you have already. So that's just another idea that we got going on there in the tank right now.
Nice
little article for you to check out. Aegis Files, of course. I think Chris Davies is trying to kill me. I wake up at night going, Chris Davies, the carpal tunnel, copy paste. He is just a machine. Look at all this stuff. If you want
so great.
This is just the last week. This is just ridiculous.
I love it.
We also have, of course, Matt Mabry's in there. He's got a few characters as well.
Yeah.
We also
Jack
have
Kellum,
Jack Kellum as well, Dr. Botany, which we have right here, Dr. Botany.
I saw that. That's great.
Dun, dun, dun. And we also have Dominic Holtz has put in a couple characters. And my favorite character from first edition, well, it's a toss-up between Gimmick and this character, the Pugilist. He did a conversion of the Pugilist from first edition. I would love to see a comeback of all those characters. Definitely, put in new products. Hopefully they'll get around to fitting those in just as a nostalgia moment for me.
Yeah, I like that. I like the idea.
Of course, for upcoming events, we have the Yo Joe creating Paramilitary Wars. We just did Alex's office hours, as he mentioned, just a little while from now. About 23 minutes, as a matter of fact, over on Twitch. Got the link in there and everything. We have City of Destiny coming up tomorrow. That is where Alex plays Crucible in that. We also have Wednesday, Guardians of Haven Season 2, Episode 1, New Moon, Who Dis? That is the episode, guy. Got a little blurb here. The Guardians are back, baby. After a season of chaos and questionable heroics, our spacefaring swashbucklers have carved themselves a shiny new base in the heart of Farside. We also have on the morning, 6 a.m., is when podcast gets put out, and that's when Titan City Serials gets put out. Definitely check that out on Spotify. And on Thursday, guess who's back? Cloud Dar is back. Claude, we appreciate you coming back, talking all the good stuff. It's his version of Mumamo that I jokingly called Mumathu because it's Thursday. But Mumathu,
it's extended conversation. It's lovely. Yeah, it's a standalone on its own, superhero discussion. TTRPG, exactly. Good talk. Yeah.
And he's going to be going with the topic of paramilitary organizations, and he's also going to be reviewing his second ever Eminem campaign for us. Of course, Thursday, we've got office hours every Thursday with Troy. Great way to check in with Troy and find out what's going on.
We're just hanging out with some cool people. Like, it's just never fails. Yeah. It's always a very interesting collection of folks, and we talk about all kinds of good stuff. And it's a little bit of business, it's a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll. It's a lot of fun. And the gravy is just...
the gravy temperature is just right. Slide on in. Clothing optional. Anyway, Get in the tank. So that is what's going on in the tank this week, sir.
Dun, fantastic. Dun. Thank you so much, Devious. I do appreciate it. Lovely stuff. And hey, the tank is really the place. All the things that you've seen, all the stuff that we're talking about, this is all driven by members of the community, and they are live streaming, and they are writing, and they're creating characters and organizations and competitions and all kinds of fun stuff. The tank is there for this very thing. All you got to do is join. Head on over to
It's got to be
atomicthinktank.com.
wait. Troy, I don't know, man. I can't afford to buy buy a subscription or
Well,
something like that for all that kind of content. That's a lot of content.
you know what? That's a good
What?
point. And you know what? We're going to make it free.
What?
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's going to be free. You know, I thought a lot about it, and I think that all the stuff that we've just looked at, all of it should be free.
Fantastic. I'm
thank you.
signing up. Definitely.
You've moved me. You've moved my heart. So friends, you have Devious to thank. The tank is free.
It was
what?
The clothing optional comment, wasn't it? I see that.
Yeah, listen, now we're gonna have to pay people to join. Yeah, you know, all jokes aside, it's free, and it's always been free. Now there is a membership element to the Atomic Think Tank. It's called the Cape and Cowl Club, and it is a little extra developmental opportunity for people who really want to get into the nuts and bolts of Mutants and Masterminds. And everything that you saw here, this tremendous resource, and all the you know, all the things that Devious just covered, every last one of them, free. The Cape and Cowl Club, it's $8 a month, and you can buy them annual subscription, and you will get 2 free months if you do that. But it's well worth it. It's opportunity to sit down with Alex and Steve to learn about how to develop a TTRPG about superheroes. It's also, you get to be part of early looks on products that haven't come out yet, that need review or need sort of, you know, to be kind of kicked around the playground. The bonuses are manifold. And so, as a matter of fact, I'm just recording today a little Cape and Cowl PSA, which I'm almost finished with, and I think it sounds pretty darn groovy, but we'll send that out. But it's really great. Yeah, exactly. Dave Alex, how do we make money? Volume. That's really
right.
loud. Yeah, we are on for Thursdays this week. Tempo. We're going to be diving into our setting. We're going to be having a conversation about what did I call it? It was the sleeper's burden, the napper's quandary. We'll get into it. But yeah,
Slumberer's Burden.
The Slumberer's Burden. That's my own name.
It was either that or Swords of the Shadow Planet. One of those.
No, it was not Swords of the Shadow. Don't even get him started. But that's that, friends. A lot of great stuff happening, and a lot of great people to hang out with and have fun with. It's all part of the larger Green Ronin, organism, the multiverse, the whatever it is. It's so fun. We'd love for you to join. Do so, won't you? And Devious, thank you again for all the good news and details about what's going on in the tank.
No problem. More than happy to put more stuff in. Get in the tank, guys. Come around, lurk, get in chat, talk, put in articles, read those articles, give a thumbs up. We're all here for it.
That's right. Speaking of thumbs up, make sure you're liking and subscribing to this very stream. If you're hearing my voice and you clearly you should like and subscribe and share. Share with a friend, share it with your mom, share it with a neighbor. You know what? Those neighbors, they're probably just hankering for a good superhero TTRPG. Well, let them know about Mutants Masterminds Monday, and leave a comment. All those things feeds the algorithm and lets the algorithm know that you like us. You really, really like us. But for now, I think we say goodbye.
Bye-bye.